Now the Blessed One thought, "To whom shall I preach the doctrine first? My old teachers are dead. They would have received the good news with joy, but my 5 disciples are still alive. I shall go to them, and to them shall I first proclaim the gospel of deliverance." At that time, the 5 bhikkhus dwelt in the Deer Park at Benares, and the Blessed One rose and journeyed to their abode, not thinking of their unkindness in having left him at a time when he was most in need of their sympathy and help, but mindful only of the services which they had ministered unto him, and pitying them for the austerities which they practiced in vain. Upaka, a young Brahmin and a Jain, a former acquaintance of Siddhartha, saw the Blessed One while he journeyed to Benares, and amazed at the majesty and sublime joyfulness of his appearance, said to him, "Thy countenance, my friend, is serene. Thine eyes are bright and indicate purity and blessedness." The holy Buddha replied, "I have obtained deliverance by the extinction of self. My body is chastened, my mind is free from desire, and the deepest truth has taken abode in my heart. I have obtained Nirvana, and this is the reason that my countenance is serene and my eyes are bright. I now desire to found the kingdom of truth upon earth, to give light to those who are enshrouded in darkness, and to open the gate of deathlessness." Upaka replied, "Thou professest then, friend, to be Jina, the conqueror of the world, the Absolute One, and the Holy One." The Blessed One said, "Jinas are all those who have conquered self and the passions of self. Those alone are victorious who control their minds and abstain from evil. Therefore, Upaka, I am the Jina." Upaka shook his head. "Venerable Gautama," he said, "thy way lies yonder." And taking another road, he went away. On seeing their old teacher approach, the 5 bhikkhus agreed among themselves not to salute him, nor to address him as a master, but by his name only. For, so they said, he has broken his vow and has abandoned holiness. He is no bhikkhu, but Gautama, and Gautama has become a man who lives in abundance and indulges in the pleasures of worldliness. But when the Blessed One approached in a dignified manner, they involuntarily rose from their seats and greeted him in spite of their resolution. Still they called him by his name and addressed him as Friend Gautama. When they had thus received the Blessed One, he said, "Do not call the Tathagata by his name, nor address him as friend, for he is the Buddha, the Holy One. The Buddha looks with a kind heart equally on all living beings, and they therefore call him Father. To disrespect a father is wrong. To despise him is wicked. The Tathagata," the Buddha continued, "does not seek salvation in austerities, but neither does he for that reason indulge in worldly pleasures, nor live in abundance. The Tathagata has found the middle path. There are 2 extremes, O bhikkhus, which the man who has given up the world ought not to follow: the habitual practice, on the one hand, of self-indulgence which is unworthy, vain and fit only for the worldly-minded, and the habitual practice, on the other hand, of self-mortification, which is painful, useless, and unprofitable. Neither abstinence from fish and flesh, nor going naked, nor shaving the head, nor wearing matted hair, nor dressing in a rough garment, nor covering oneself with dirt, nor sacrificing to Agni, will cleanse a man who is not free from delusions. Reading the Vedas, making offerings to priests or sacrifices to the gods, self-mortification by heat or cold, and many such penances performed for the sake of immortality, these do not cleanse the man who is not free from delusions. Anger, drunkenness, obstinacy, bigotry, deception, envy, self-praise, disparaging others, superciliousness, and evil intentions constitute uncleanness, not verily the eating of flesh. A middle path, O bhikkhus, avoiding the 2 extremes, has been discovered by the Tathagata, a path which opens the eyes and bestows understanding, which leads to peace of mind, to the higher wisdom, to full enlightenment, to Nirvana. What is that middle path, O bhikkhus? Avoiding these two extremes, discovered by the Tathagata that path which opens the eyes and bestows understanding, which leads to peace of mind, to the higher wisdom, to full enlightenment, to Nirvana? Let me teach you, O bhikkhus, the middle path, which keeps aloof from both extremes. By suffering, the emaciated devotee produces confusion and sickly thoughts in his mind. Mortification is not conducive even to worldly knowledge. How much less to a triumph over the senses? He who fills his lamp with water will not dispel the darkness, and he who tries to light a fire with rotten wood will fail. And how can anyone be free from self by leading a wretched life if he does not succeed in quenching the fires of lust, if he still hankers after either worldly or heavenly pleasures? But he in whom self has become extinct is free from lust. He will desire neither worldly nor heavenly pleasures, and the satisfaction of his natural wants will not defile him. However, let him be moderate, let him eat and drink according to the need of the body. Sensuality is enervating. The self-indulgent man is a slave to his passions, and pleasure-seeking is degrading and vulgar. But to satisfy the necessities of life is not evil. To keep the body in good health is a duty, for otherwise we shall not be able to trim the lamp of wisdom and keep our minds strong and clear. Water surrounds the lotus flower, but does not wet its petals. This is the middle path, O bhikkhus, that keeps aloof from both extremes. And the Blessed One spoke kindly to his disciples, pitying them for their errors and pointing out the uselessness of their endeavors. And the ice of ill will that chilled their hearts melted away under the gentle warmth of the Master's persuasion. Now the Blessed One set the wheel of the most excellent law rolling, and he began to preach to the 5 bhikkhus, opening to them the gate of immortality and showing them the bliss of Nirvana. The Buddha said, "The spokes of the wheel are the rules of pure conduct. Justice is the uniformity of their length. Wisdom is the tire. Modesty and thoughtfulness are the hub in which the immovable axle of truth is fixed. He who recognizes the existence of suffering, its cause, its remedy, and its cessation, has fathomed the 4 noble truths. He will walk in the right path. Right views will be the torch to light his way. Right aspirations will be his guide. Right speech will be his dwelling place on the road. His gait will be straight, for it is right behavior. His refreshments will be the right way of earning his livelihood. Right efforts will be his steps, right thoughts his breath, and right contemplation will give him the peace that follows in his footprints. Now this, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning suffering. Birth is attended with pain, decay is painful, disease is painful, death is painful. Union with the unpleasant is painful, painful is separation from the pleasant, and any craving that is unsatisfied, that too is painful. In brief, bodily conditions which spring from attachment are painful. This then, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning suffering. Now this, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning the origin of suffering. Verily it is that craving which causes the renewal of existence accompanied by sensual delight. Seeking satisfaction now here, now there, the craving for the gratification of the passions, the craving for a future life, and the craving for happiness in this life. This, then, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning the origin of suffering. Now this, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning the destruction of suffering. Verily, it is the destruction in which no passion remains of this very thirst. It is the laying aside of, the being free from, the dwelling no longer upon this thirst. This then, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning the destruction of suffering. Now this, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning the way which leads to the destruction of sorrow. Verily, it is this noble eightfold path, that is to say, right views, right aspirations, right speech, right behavior, right livelihood, right effort, right thoughts, and right contemplation. This, then, O bhikkhus, is the noble truth concerning the destruction of sorrow. By the practice of loving kindness, I have attained liberation of heart, and thus I am assured that I shall never return in renewed births. I have even now attained Nirvana." When the Blessed One had thus set the royal chariot wheel of truth rolling onward, a rapture thrilled through all the universes. The Devas left their heavenly abodes to listen to the sweetness of the truth. The saints that had parted from life crowded around the great teacher to receive the glad tidings. Even the animals of the earth felt the bliss that rested upon the words of the Tathagata. And all the creatures of the host of sentient beings, God's men and beasts, hearing the message of deliverance, received and understood it in their own language. And when the doctrine was propounded, the venerable Kondana, the oldest one among the 5 bhikkhus, discerned the truth with his mental eye, and he said, "Truly, O Buddha, our Lord, thou hast found the truth." Then the other bhikkhus too joined him and exclaimed, "Truly, thou art the Buddha, thou hast found the truth." And the devas and saints and all the good spirits of the departed generations that had listened to the sermon of the Tathagata joyfully received the doctrine and shouted, "Truly, the Blessed One has founded the kingdom of righteousness. The Blessed One has moved the earth. He has set the wheel of truth rolling, which by no one in the universe, be he God or man, can ever be turned back. The kingdom of truth will be preached upon earth. It will spread, and righteousness, goodwill, and peace will reign among mankind."